Hello, and welcome to this week Training Tuesday Live. It's Magna Marketers this week, and today we're going to do something a little fun, liven things up. We want to invite you to play a game with us today that we are calling Ripe or Hype. We're talking about some digital trends in 2019 that were predicted to really take over, as well as ones that we're hearing for 2020. All of these buzzwords, you know how it goes, but really saying, is it something that is ripe? Meaning it's ready. It's ready for your brand to take action on and dive into. Or is it hype? And we still feel like it's still that shiny thing that is fun, but is it right for your business? Before we dive in, though, if you've not met before, hello. My name is Jessica Phillips with Now Marketing Group and the Relationship Marketing System, and my awesome co-host. I do it every time. I'm going to point to the right direction this time. It's Mike Gingrich. He's the president of Digital Hill, the co-founder of the popular apps Woftio, Tabsite, and a published author extraordinaire. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, I'm doing well, and very excited for this unique episode. We'll have to see if this takes off, man. We could have a new model here, but really looking forward to this. Good to be here. Let's see. I was traveling last week. Was in O'Hare Airport about this time, so it's good to be in the seat, ready to go.
That's awesome. I feel like we look very complimentary today. Yeah. We both got like the pink purples on, both got glasses on and bringing back the blue light glasses to get rid of these headaches that have been coming on. Protect your eyes, people. That's one of the trends that I'm going to call ripe. Blue light glasses. It is good for you, I promise. But we're not here to talk about glasses. We're here to talk about digital trends. And one of the things I would love for you to do as we're getting going with this is pop in your own digital trends that you've heard about. Now, I do want to preface that with saying I'm not seeing all of the comments real time. Most of the comments we are monitoring from the Facebook page on Now Marketing Group's Facebook page. So it's facebook.com/Now Marketing Group. We are live streaming this, however, to YouTube, LinkedIn Live, as well as a couple groups here on Facebook. So if you're wanting to be a part of the conversation, definitely join us on the page there, and I'll be monitoring comments as much as I can, all these places, because I want to know what digital trends that you would like to talk about and whether you think they're hype or ripe. All right. So you ready for the first one, Mike?
Let's do it. Yes. So we want to talk about some trends, and you want to talk about you want to go into the Instagram one?
Yeah. So there's so many social sites out there. As you know, we're winding down 2019, even though it doesn't feel real that Thanksgiving's next week here in the US. It is. And so brands are thinking about what to prepare for in 2020. And we just did a webinar on Now Marketing Group's page last week called getahead2020.com, and it talked about several things that were really something to double down on. And one of those things that was brought up a lot was Instagram. And this is one that is owned by parent company Facebook, of course, and is primarily been thought of in the past as something that businesses that are really into fashion or, that are into really more visuals, things like that, but they need to focus on Instagram, and more importantly, Instagram as a business to connect to your business account, potentially on Facebook as well. So what do you think, Mike? Is Instagram one for businesses to really focus on as ripe or hype? And is it depending on what type of business they are?
Right. I think that it is ripe for a growing market of businesses and industries. Okay. So that's just increased. I think that, a year ago, just based on who was on there and that type of thing, it was narrower, but because of what Instagram, because of the growth of the demographic on Instagram, and because of the growth of the tools that Instagram has released, that it is ripe for a much broader segment. I think it is one that is very important for businesses to consider, take a look at, because the demographics don't lie, that people are spending a significant amount of time there. There's a load of people on there, and it's spanning age brackets and a lot of things. So with those tools, I think very, very powerful tool. I know that I spend a ton of time there.
Yeah, absolutely. I will have to agree with you. I think Instagram is ripe for 2019, 2020. It is one that brands could invest in when done right. So here's the keys, I feel like, for doubling down on Instagram, if it is going to be a focus for you, is using real people doing real things, real time type post, as well as using the stories more often in your posting, and being really thoughtful in what you're sharing on your brand account. So it's not one that you have to publish on. Now, I'm sure that Instagram experts are going to come after me for saying this, but publish natively on your page every single day is a post, but it's one that you could get involved in the stories every single day.
Yes.
But the focus there, I feel like, is really just highlighting your business in a visual way of showing who you are, kind of how you show up. And, it's a platform where people are spending time. They say, an average Instagram user spends an average of 53 minutes a day in 2019 was the stats. 71% of the billion monthly active users on Instagram are under the age of 35. So something to take into consideration. And there's a billion active users on Instagram now. So it's definitely one that's going to get visibility. They're going to be able to understand your brand quickly because of the images there, but it is going to be one that you have to focus on your strategy and how you're using it, and not just posting kind of same old copy that isn't really going to say much.
Yep. No, I totally agree. I think that's a point to be made, that I don't think you do have to post daily on Instagram. I think that we've seen that trend shift, and as well with the growth of stories and all that is involved with stories, I think that's really an important factor to consider.
Yeah, definitely think it needs a strategy too, because I think that was one thing also with Instagram. I don't think many brands went at it with an actual strategy in mind. And if you are fans of Agorapulse here, they have a really amazing social lab where they've done experiments on Instagram on, if black and white photos work better, or color photos, or text versus images, or, a lot of different things with strategy, hashtags. And they've proven several things that work with a strategy. So using hashtags, definitely, being strategic in the types of colors that you're using versus black and white, and, how you're kind of showing up on that platform. So do go at it with a strategy, but it's definitely one that we are giving the thumbs up for ripe, one that you definitely should invest in a brand in 2020 moving forward. So let's go on to the next one, which is a little tricky, chatbots. So chatbots have got a lot of attention over the past 2 years. It's growing quite a bit. What are your thoughts on chatbots for business? Ripe or hype, Mike?
Yeah, well, can we get anybody to contribute on that one? What do we think?
Yeah.
Is there anybody? We got some people on Facebook there, LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I'm
what
curious.
do you tell us?
I've definitely got an opinion, but anybody out there? Let's see.
And there's no right or wrong. This is everybody's personal opinion on this. And I know we have some friends that definitely love this space too. So, there might be some back and forth on this one. This is what's fun about it. It's the game. There's no right or wrong. So what do you think? Chatbots, ripe or hype for business in 2020?
What we need is some of that, I'm thinking like Jeopardy music in the background. Until somebody weighs in on that kind of piece there, what they think. Do you want to start on that one?
You're so backpedaling. You don't want to answer it. I'll do it. It's fine.
I'll talk too much, but I just want to consume the time here.
It's good. I'll take the bullet for that one. You want me to take it? Okay. So I'm going to preface this with, you got to hear the full thing of this story. Okay. My answer here. So it's not black and white here, people. I'm going to say that it is hype first, unless instead of focusing on being a chatbot, you are focusing on conversational marketing. And what I mean by that, and this is definitely a big one that is ripe, so ripe, is looking at messenger marketing as an opportunity to start a conversation with your audience in a meaningful way. So Where I think it's gotten tripped up to be the hype side is where people are just getting these chatbots and they're not knowing what they're doing and they're just setting it up and installing it and doing some things that are annoying to people. Like I love my girl Kelly Noble Marabella. She knows how to, get it set up right and how to set it up. And Facebook even does believe in this as well. Now, granted, they've made it really difficult on some third-party tools, which Kelly will tell you it's a lot that, she's had to deal with, integrating with the tool that she's using and representing to get some messenger marketing integrated with Messenger. However, Facebook, on the other hand, if you have not been in your inbox recently on your business page, go to your inbox and then scroll down to the automated response section. In the automated response section, they have pre-built in there some conversational marketing opportunities for you to automatically have at your disposal, meaning you can start with some frequently asked questions that you can generate right there and have a response, a thoughtful response back, where you can also attach a video to reply back or an image to reply back to that frequently asked question, or direct them to a link that can open directly in Facebook or whatever you want it to do. But they have pre-built in where Messenger conversations can be automated for the starting point of just starting the conversation. So here's why I said it's both. The hype part is chatbot just for the sake of trying to have a chatbot, where I think it is hype or ripe, definitely something you need to double down on is thinking about how can I start to generate more conversations in the inbox with using a couple automated tools that can help me facilitate it smarter, faster, and reducing friction in the process overall. That is where I think brands can definitely double down on. But chatbots as a whole, with so many businesses just not knowing kind of where to go with it, I guess, is what I'll say.
Got it.
What do you think?
Okay. Again, I think I have to kind of preface this as well, but I'm going to also agree hype. And I'm going to say that largely it's because I haven't seen adoption rates of people enjoying the experience. Now, again, that comes back to somewhat of the setup of it. All right. So I think that audiences don't want to stay with a bot for a long period of time, like multiple question, multiple answer kind of things. If it's quick and done and you got somewhere, I think that can work. But the trend has been too long of sequences, and demographics have not enjoyed that experience, that type of thing. So that's why I say hype. Can it shift? I mean, I think there's a spot for it. But it's has to be done correctly and done in a succinct way and intelligently, with getting someone to what they want quickly.
Yeah, and what I would recommend is starting with just a messenger conversational marketing, like we said, starting with even using the free chat feature that Facebook gives you. That's another thing in your messenger section. If you go into your page settings and then go into the column on the left of your business page manager in Facebook, they give you a messenger section of there where you can add a free chat window to message section to put on your website, so somebody can start a conversation with you and you're able to respond back and forth directly from Messenger on Facebook. Now, granted, they have to have a Messenger account. So those things are big, and that is super helpful if you've ever been on a website and need a question answered. What we're talking about is having a follow-up of automated sequences sent out, and it can be done right and thoughtfully. We've seen it done. We've used it at Social Media Week Lima even, and it was a great response to that. But where we're saying some of it is harder to, adoption rate is a little bit harder for businesses if they don't have someone doing this for them. Let me preface that, is where it could be some hype that you really need to think about. What is your strategy? How are you using it to help someone? And what is your overall approach? And then making sure it's done right. If not, it can be a nightmare and it's going to turn people off more than help. Yeah. So contact Kelly and she'll help you out.
Got it.
Set up. All right, let's move on to the next one, Ripe or Hype. And a quick shout out to a couple people joining in with us today. Let us know where you're joining in from and what are those trends that you would like to break down as hype or ripe. Hey, Ross Brand, good to see you on here. Hey, Josh, how are you? Good to see you on here as well. But yes, give us a shout out and let us know what you are working on this week. All right, the next one. Ooh, where to go from here? Let's say. All right. So the next one is stories overall. So this could be Facebook stories, Instagram stories, kind of touched on a little bit, but what are your thoughts? Hype or ripe?
Ripe. Yeah. I mean, I think I already touched on that a little bit with Instagram, but yeah, people are spending time there. It's a new method. I think what you're seeing, I mean, and Facebook's even talked about this with their newsfeed in general, of the possibility of moving to a different model there. So, against where there you're scrolling left to right in the English language case, and I think that's what you're seeing with stories, that people are really enjoying that experience, and it's getting some personal content, it's getting behind the scenes content. It's helped up the personalization. This is real. This is the business type game.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would have to agree with you. It's definitely one that is ripe. It's ready for brands to embrace stories thoughtfully and think about the platform that you're doing it on, get your team involved. It's a great way of showing up and building relationships with your audience, letting them feel more connected into your day-to-day, whether you are in front of the camera or you're behind the camera showing some things from behind the scenes, but it's definitely a way to engage your audience. I actually pulled a stat that I will share in the group and in the recap, rather, with the notes from the show, but that most people prefer to learn about a new product or service through short videos. So if you are using stories, and it is called stories, it's not like it's a, promo reel or whatever, but stories to showcase, a day in your life and what you're doing, and kind of like a mini little take you along with me behind the scenes. It's a great way of letting people introduce your audience into what your day is all about, and keep you top of mind, and them to get to know you more often, but also to help people learn something specifically that you can share really quickly in a story, because people do prefer to learn about something from a video. So it's a great way of staying connected. Short form content, I believe that is something that's going to stay around for a while. So I agree with you there.
Got it.
Moving on to the next one. What do you want to focus on next? Which one?
I tossed this one in there as a late addition here, but I think that it needs to be talked about. And if we're talking about 2020, this is relevant here. So I brought in TikTok. Okay.
Yes.
TikTok. Is it ripe or hype?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Okay. So for TikTok is definitely ripe for younger people. I don't think it is ripe for businesses in how it's set up. And I don't think we should ruin it for all of our children. Okay. So let's not jump on this bandwagon and ruin it. Now, is it a lot of fun? Heck yes. Is it the most creative platform that I've seen out there, and how it is creating just fun, really? I mean, you cannot go on that platform and not smile and laugh and really just your creative juices flowing, which is awesome. However, for businesses, and this is all we're using this for, is to talk about business use cases for it. I don't see a business use case unless you are working with someone as an influencer, right, that is showing up on that platform, because you do get great visibility. It is great to kind of show up there and you have a great audience. However, the audience is a younger, completely super younger demographic. So there could be some specific niche businesses where it would make sense, but for the majority, don't go on and ruin that platform for all of our kids.
Yeah, and you're seeing some big brands as well that are doing well on TikTok, and kind of, again, another place to follow their content. I've enjoyed it from kind of a sports scenario, so I can follow some ESPN, that type of thing, and quick get highlights and that type of piece there. I have gotten a few ads on there from larger brands, that type of piece. So there's some things there. So I say, it's ripe to pay attention to.
Absolutely. I agree.
Ripe to pay attention to. Don't just ignore it and say, I don't need to know anything about that. You need to kind of follow what's happening.
I agree with you there. Definitely. Yeah, definitely check it out. I mean, there's some creators that are doing some amazing things.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I love Judy Fox does a great job on there. Like Brian Fanzo has been, on there doing some really cool things, checking it out. I've just been a lurker and following my children, they're doing some things. However, I tell you, it has some serious power and influence over that demographic. Like that's where my kids learn about everything. I was a VSCO girl for Halloween this year because my kids had heard about this and found out all about it on this app. And so it's definitely one that they spend all of their time on. It's this and YouTube. That's where they're hanging out.
Okay. All right. So we got to go into the next one, and let's come back to Facebook here, and let's talk about, is it going away or is it here to stay?
That was a lot of like 2018 going into 2019. It was like, everything is dead. Social media is dead. Facebook's dead. Like everything was dead, was all the headlines. And we actually did a video kind of laughing at that. But there's still been talk of Facebook just not really generating results. Honestly, there is a low engagement rate, like 0.09% on, organic posts on average with several different social media platforms. And one that's been called out a lot is Facebook. And that it's really just not one to pay attention to anymore. And that it's one that businesses shouldn't, take very seriously. And that's been some of the predictions and hype, if you will. And I'm going to call that hype. I think there's the brands that are doing it right on Facebook, meaning that they are showing up to engage and use it as a platform for having conversations and taking advantage of the tools that are on there, like groups, Facebook groups, and, Facebook stories and Facebook video and Facebook Watch, and using some of the other features on there that we just talked about, like those conversational marketing tools that are built into Facebook, the appointments that are built into Facebook, the services that are built into Facebook, the jobs, all of the things. It can work. You just have to have a plan and showing up to genuinely just focus on the conversations that you're starting and keeping people natively on that platform to do so in order to make Facebook work for you.
Okay. I'm going to agree and say it's ripe. And I'm going to say to kind of, I think, back up what you said and say that it's just changed. You need to use the right tools. So there's groups that I'm very active in that I wasn't before, that type of thing. I'm seeing more stories. I'm following that than I was before. So brands need to pay attention to these pieces there. I would say that on some B2B businesses on Facebook, I'm seeing that 0.9% engagement rate. However, on the flip side of that, I've got a B2C page that is just doing amazing in that regard. And we're up in the 30, 40, and sometimes 50%, reach and engagement is off the charts on those types of pieces there. So it's working, but that demographic is really keyed into Facebook. And so that's what's key is you got to really know what your demographic is and what they're doing on the platform, any platform.
Yeah. And if you look like at your analytics and stuff, you can see kind of where your traffic is coming. And honestly, like Facebook, it's not always happening on the page, like where the action's honestly happening is in Messenger. It is in groups. It is in, like we've talked a lot on here on dark social, where things are happening in private communities and private conversations. That's where the action's happening, and so for businesses, yes, have your plan and your strategy on your page, but look at, and that's like your digital storefront, if you will, to show up and engage, but then look at the other opportunities that are on Facebook to really get the most out of that platform. The news section there, all of the things that they have built in to the business manager that you could really take advantage of, especially now with the Creator Studio. And you can do so much with it, like with editing video clips and using that as a post, scheduling out your Instagram through there, like everything within that Creator Studio is just amazing. So Facebook's invested a lot, they've updated a lot, and I still think it's one that businesses should be part of, but just use it to its fullest potential.
Yes. All right.
All right.
Keep moving.
Let's dive into the next one. AR, VR. What are your thoughts? Augmented reality, virtual reality, definitely had a lot of buzz, online and everywhere.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts?
I come out on it a little bit like I did with TikTok. I'm gonna say hype a little bit yet, but coming. I think that for the average person, you're not seeing a ton of people using that, so therefore not highly engaging for the masses or for the audience yet. But I think I'm seeing more and more. So like TikTok, I'm saying you need to watch it. You need to see what can happen, what the new tools are, to see if there's pieces that come down to your business that can be relevant and used. And so it's one to watch.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. Unless you have a budget to really double down, I think where it would make sense and where it's going really with augmented reality and virtual reality is really some of the things that it can do with some of the tech that's being pre-built in. It's kind of like how we're evolving with AI in general.
Yes.
With messenger marketing and progressively profiling and some of the things that are really being built into a lot of the software that we're used to using on a daily basis, facial recognition and all of those things. That is super crazy. And also can personalize things a lot more for us though in the future, which could be a good thing. So I definitely agree with you. That is something that brands need to keep their finger on and really be aware of what's happening. And really it's going to just depend on your business. Like the only spot that I found a client that we could use it with was really in a scenario where they're going to a trade show, and it was instead of them having just a salesperson there explaining how their tool worked, that's a big tool that's used out on highways and breaks through concrete and replaces manholes. Instead of them learning that from a sales rep, they were able to put on some goggles and have this 360 kind of experience of what it would be like to use the tool. That's where it really came into play and was really cool, because somebody could imagine themselves there versus just somebody talking about the tool, right? It has more of an impact. They're able to evoke that emotion of what it would be like and have that fully embodied experience versus just somebody talking about it.
Yeah.
But it just depends on your business and what you can invest to make sure that it's worthy of creating that ideal experience. So kind of on the fence with that. I would say still kind of on the cusp of paying attention to it, but not being something you go super crazy about unless it really makes sense for your business.
Yep, I'm with you.
All right. So influencers. Heard a lot about them last year and still talk about influencers, working with influencers moving forward, paying for people to promote your product online on social.
Yes. All right. Anybody else out there want to tackle and jump in here? I'm going to go that I still think there's a ripeness to it for a lot of businesses if done properly. Okay, if done properly. Now, I have to caveat that and say, what will happen if all like counts go away on Instagram posts, things like that? So measurements have to change. Those are the public like counts, but that's you'll still be able to see if people do if you're an admin of it. But I don't know. There's a trust factor there. If there's someone that you respect and they're talking about something, you're going to be more inclined to pay attention to that. So I think there is a value there, and that will continue to be there, and it's something to pay attention to. And it does. I don't know. I just keep coming back. I see it when I visualize influencers. I mean, I'm seeing my Instagram on my phone, kind of thing. That's just one of the big spots where I'm seeing it. So I think there's, does that work for everybody? Again, not necessarily. I think that if you're a small business, maybe there can be something that's you're not going to get The Rock, something like that. But maybe there's something in your local community that makes sense there, that type of thing. So I think it all depends on how you work those pieces out, the strategy involved with it. But that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think instead of influencer, it should be advocate. I think you would be paying now in the future for someone that already loves and believes in your product and empowering them to do more. So like, I'll use the example of like Mari Smith, like already love her, respect her. She already, I know, like loved Wave. And then now they're paying her to really be that face of Wave to help transition people that are in this space to see how that tool could be used, right? So like that, it makes sense. It's already somebody that's kind of aligned. It makes sense. Now, when I see just a person online kind of sharing something and talking about it as a paid influencer, and they just have this product on, kind of model posing, that kind of thing, like that does nothing for me. And I don't like it. And there's so much of this false influencer community, if you will, that needs to be cleaned up for brands to really be successful. So I think if you are, I agree with you, the influencers are ripe, but you need to look at it not from, I'm going to go to a website and find influencers for hire and then find, pick one and pay for them and send them product. I've had a ton of clients that have done that before and then come to us like, it didn't work for me. Well, they didn't even know that person, right? And it was just somebody that gave them some vanity metrics and said how their page can really produce these results for them, instead of finding somebody that already loves their product and would be willing to share it, or aligned, as a big advocate that would make sense for their brand to send that off there. So think of advocates instead of influencers. So of course you want to get that organic much as you can, and find ways of creatively kind of influence, having people want to advocate for you for free. But then of course reward some of them that would make sense, for their travel and time and that kind of stuff, to be able to share it even more further on, I should say.
Yep. Good.
Okay. Moving down the list. All right. So video. That's been one that's been on the list for years. It feels like, at least like the last 5. But more and more it's like, okay, 2020 is here and 80% of the web, what was that Cisco stat? It was like 80% of online is going to be like video by the year 2020. And we're definitely moving in that direction. Like if you look at Google anyway, like a lot of the search results are coming up with video, and see our social pages and all the platforms, videos popping up. So what do you think? Ripe or hype?
It's ripe. I mean, it's just more and more so what we're doing. I mean, you and I, we're sitting here, we're talking about trends, and it's live video, that type of thing. We just went from one channel earlier this year to multi-channel now that we're broadcasting out to, and it's phone speeds, all those kind of things, internet speeds that played into that just allow for that. And I mean, it's that one-to-many, it's the nearest thing to the handshake that you can get, because we're seeing mannerisms, that type of thing. We're seeing movements, and we're getting somebody's vibe, through video. And so it's again, what are the trending things? Watch what teenagers are consuming. Jessica, you said it, TikTok and YouTube for your younger ones then. And so that's a precursor of the way things shift and evolve.
Yeah. And not just video in live video. So I really think it's ripe, but video needs to be on landing pages, of your website, video for how-to tutorials, short video. We just shared that stat that people want to learn about how to use a product or service from a video. Like I was just going through purchasing a software yesterday, and I'm like, show me how to get this started. Like, I don't want to read this long thing. Like, I need to see what it looks like. Double down on your video and really show up in a way of creating video content that can be shared on your social channels, as well as in on your website, and really using that not only just for engagement in social, but also for search engine optimization, because so many things have changed in SEO and will continue to change in 2020. And video could be a big part of helping you break through that sea of samesies and all those brands that you're trying to kind of stand out against on there.
That's good. That's good.
All right.
Break through the samesies.
Yeah. The other thing with video too, honestly, is email, video and email. Like, okay, so I've been like this big bomb fan forever, right? Like, but I found one that's even better that I want to tell you guys about just real quick, because I think this is a game changer. And actually, a woman emailed me, and it was a video response back to my video bomb email to her. She replied back with an email that not only had her video embedded into the email, but it had like this cool call to action links and stuff at the bottom of it. And it was like made my bomb one look like archaic, right? So I was like, what the heck is she using? It's called Dubb, D-U-B-B, or I think it's two B's, D-U-B-B, but yeah. dubb.com. I'll put a link in here. But what it allows you to do is like do personalized video email, but then really it gives you like the landing pages, everything built into this software, and people open that. I'm telling you, every time I've sent a video email response, one, it communicates things a lot more clear than if you're just writing it all out. Two, you again get the tone in there, and three, it's personalized, right? People feel like you took this extra step. So I see video email being a lot more focused on in 2020 as a strategy in follow-up. One other quick example is a woman sent me an email trying to solicit me, which I immediately usually ignore those. However, in this email was a video kind of clip that started playing. It's almost like a little GIF of her going through my LinkedIn page and clicking on things. And it piqued my interest. So I watched her video. I never watch or click on sales bait emails, but in this email, she was talking about ideas that she had for me, and it was just 2 minutes long. She sent it to me in this email. I watched it and I replied back to her, and we're going to do a call. Like, I would have never done that if it was just a sales email. So I think that's something really that people could.
So she personalized it. It was written for Jessica. She videoed it for Jessica.
My name. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to send out a sales letter, or a sales email, why not take, it was 2 minutes long. It wasn't even that, right? She hit record, and now these tools, like, it integrates right within your Gmail or whatever that you're using. And you can record your desktop super quick and send it off. Like, why not, right? Like, that's going to give you such a better chance of getting, an open than if you're just saying, hey, personalized name, right? Here's what we're all about, and yada, yada. Like, curiosity makes you want to click on it if they're seeing something that is theirs, like my LinkedIn page. I'm like, what is she doing on my LinkedIn page, right? I wanted to watch it. So I really think it's a great tool for that purpose, and also using it for delight in other ways. Like, we're sending how-to videos quickly back to clients, and then on a mass scale, sharing something of what's to come and all of that in an email on a mass scale too. So there's lots of ways that you can use it.
Yeah, no, I like that. I need to take a look at that Dubb.com.
Oh, I love this. Eileen says, Jessica, I'm so glad you mentioned Dubb. I have a 14-day trial that I need to get going with. Yes. I have just got everything set up yesterday. So I'm super excited to get it rolling and going. And they have a super active Facebook group and community that's really helping each other. So, all right, moving down this list, kind of in that same vein, it was personalized content. I mean, all of this really is the key. Personalized content has shown in email, as well as personalized content just in ads that are being served up. So when you're using ads, this is something that is a game changer, and it's showing that you're going to have 80% more effectiveness if some type of ad, email, whatever you're sending out is personalized to the person that's getting it, which means that you need some kind of system, CRM, what have you, that is collecting data on your clients and audience in order to be able to serve this up. So personalized content, hype or ripe? I guess I went right into it's good. But what are your thoughts first?
Yeah, no, I think as well that personalized content is key, and it is there's multiple ways that it's becoming more easy to do it, and and we just kind of talked about how that video, that was personalized content right there to you. Right. So that's that's key.
Yeah, and that's a one-to-one example. Let me give a mass example, okay, and how easy this could be. So one of our clients, they use Shopify as their website, right? Yep. And their products are all on Shopify. And this tool is like built in where it's like, hey, if they've liked this product, they may also like this. Or, hey, if they've purchased this product, chances are in 2 months, they're going to want to re-up. So what we mean by personalized content is using the example of like an e-commerce business, it's going through and setting up your email automation to say, hey, let's follow up with our client, customer, what have you, and say, we noticed that you purchased this, so you may want also enjoy this. And you're actually saying that in the email. So instead of just blanket sending out like an ad or a newsletter, you're personalizing things that matter to that individual. It could be done in a B2B example of, you downloaded this type of content, so you may enjoy this, or you just finished doing this webinar. So, hey, here's your next step in the process, right? Yeah. So like personalizing it where someone's saying, oh, they actually are paying attention to what I'm doing, and what I've done.
Status, where I'm at in the sequence, the process. Got it.
Yeah. And I'm sure all of you have an example like that of loyalty, when you went into a store and they're like, here's your favorite items, and now you have so many points on it, and here we're going to reward you. It can be done in a multitude of different ways. It's really just key of personalizing to the person so it gets noticed, and it's something that will help reduce churn as well as keep people engaged in their attention on what you have to say.
Yes. Yep.
All right. So moving down the list, we have one more to talk about here, and that is just the new, I want to call it next generation SEO. So I'm including in this like Alexa flash briefings, voice search. I know not all of them are the same, but just all of the changes in voice search overall, as well as search engine optimization, kind of next gen, and what people are calling next gen, which is usually voice search and changing up how you are indexing your website for voice overall.
Yeah. I gotta go ripe on that. I think that the voice search is just totally increasing. The more, think about our phones, what we're doing on there. Think about what we're doing at home with devices, and therefore, the way you write content, the content that you have on your web needs to adapt to that, and you also need to have content that. This is SEO as well, and that is content that adapts to the ways different users might want to consume content. So you need more on your website.
Yeah. And I would have to agree. Some of the voice stuff I think is still yet to be determined, but I do think you should focus on writing the content on your website and just your overall search engine optimization strategy. We said it earlier, and making sure that you're investing in the SEO tech stuff. So like meaning like how your data set up on behind the scenes, like what a user can't see, definitely have the content there, but making sure that it's all organized correctly. I think that's something brands really need to focus on in 2020, because that's going to make a huge difference in how it's being indexed on different sites, and mobile devices, not just, Google desktop, right? And being searched there. So absolutely right. That is ripe and something that definitely needs to be focused on. In regards to Alexa flash briefing, I haven't seen a lot of people jump on that. I love what Ross Brand is doing, but not one that I've seen a huge growth on, but definitely one that just smart devices overall has grown and continues to grow. And I definitely think this is something that, like AR, VR, just pay attention to and something that you need to be ready when it comes. Keep your finger on the pulse.
Definitely.
The last thing that I'll mention on here for Ripe or Hype, unless any of you have Ripe or Hype suggestions of digital trends that we didn't mention, which ones did we leave off? I know there's a ton that were mentioned. I looked for the ones that were most often referenced for 2020 and 2019. So let us know if we missed one and what your thoughts are on that. But the last thing is just changes overall with YouTube. And if you've not seen this before, it's the COPPA. And that is, the Children's Privacy Act from the lawsuit that was just, have you heard about this before I dive into it, Mike?
Well, I'm aware of it on YouTube for sure. I mean, that's where I've seen it. I don't know the backstory on that lawsuit though.
Yeah. So there was a big lawsuit. I don't remember the name of it. I'd have to look it back up. But basically, there was a lawsuit that was lost by Google, and it was all in regards to children being targeted on their channel and being featured on YouTube. And so what has transpired from here is that now, anytime you have a video that is targeting children or something that children would enjoy, like whether it's the music, the people that are on there, the background, what have you, you have to disclose that on YouTube, and it will then remove comments. It will remove where your analytics on the video and how you're embedding it and all of that on your channel. So I wanted to just mention that as something that brands 20 that is definitely ripe and something that you should look into as we're talking about video is looking at how you are organizing your content and how you're putting it out to the world and what it's going to, how should I say this? How you are going to share it out on your YouTube channel. So making sure that you definitely have permissions for your music, as well as, all the right settings on who's in the video, who's going to be targeted in the video, and what you need to do in order to make sure that it is secure, or else you could end up with a big fine. So we went through all of our videos for clients and ended up changing out some of them, because it wasn't even just like if it was targeted to children in general, is even if there was children featured in the video that are under the age of 13, like you have to put if it's for children or not in there. And like when YouTube, I just shared the link to the article and reading more on it, but it's something that you need to go back and even all your old videos, check out and turn those settings on each video and your channel overall. So
yeah, no,
I think all kinds of fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's the challenge. Yeah. So basically that's another layer of evaluating kind of your content, so that you don't get, caught up in whoa, oh, what's this? Our channel's getting shut down, or, whatever, that type of thing.
Yeah. The whole key with this is planning out your strategy for next year, finishing 2019 strong. Those are just some Ripe Hype, some of the things, that you need to think about as you're putting together your strategy. I know there's so many shiny objects out there and things you want to double down on. It's really just going back to the basics. What are your goals? Who are you trying to target? And what is going to be the best use of your time, as well as maybe who do you need to bring in to help you out with that solution. So hopefully this gave you some ideas on some areas that would make sense for you to double down on. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We do have a free guide on getting ahead in 2020. Go to getahead2020.com. Get your guide to 20 ways of really standing out in 2020, as well as a free webinar on the predictions for next year backed by data. So hopefully this was of value to you. Thank you so much, Mike. It's always good to hang out with you on Tuesday.
Yeah, definitely fun. Appreciate it. And I liked it, kind of hopping around, different things like that, and kind of getting to whether it's fluff or substance. That was fun.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again with something else. It was fun. All right. All right. Well, hope you guys all have a good rest of your week. Look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, see ya.
See ya. Take care.